It's a new year, and I thought it would be a great idea to reintroduce myself. I don't think I've actually ever properly introduced myself on this platform, so I thought it'd be a great idea to share a few things about myself so you guys can get to know me a little bit more. First, my name is Frilancy Hoyle. I know I get this a lot when I tell people my name. They're like, okay, is that your business name? Like, what's your actual real name? Freelance is my name. I was named after freelancers from South Africa. They were in Zambia, they were photographers, and my dad thought it was a great idea to name me Freelance. And I feel like my name is so fitting with what I do with my life. When I was younger, I absolutely hated my name because nobody could pronounce it right, and all my friends had very simple names. Thank God we're in this place now where we're very much comfortable and very confident in who we are. I recently turned 33. My birthday is November 23rd. I am the second oldest child out of 4. I have an older brother than me, then my sister Rebecca, and then my little brother Kay. Absolutely love my family. They are my life. My sister Rebecca passed away August 2020, and it completely has shifted my life. And due to her death, I struggle with depression and anxiety. This is something that I never dealt with before in my life, so I feel very foreign sometimes in my body when I'm dealing with my depression and anxiety. I am now at a place in my life where I'm very vocal and very much vulnerable and open to talk about the importance of mental health. This is something that I never really cared for before, but life has a way of humbling you, and life has a way of looking at things differently when you actually have a front row sit to something. I am finding different ways of openly talking about mental health and just my grieving journey and where I come from. Zambia, we don't talk about mental health openly, This is something you're supposed to just privately struggle with, because when you talk about having mental health, they look at you as a crazy person, which is so sad and so heartbreaking. So I have made it as a mission to use my small little platform to openly talk about the importance of taking care of yourself and mental health. I am from Zambia, Africa. I am a proud Zambian woman. I am Bemba by tribe. I lived in Zambia until I was 9. My family moved to the States when I was 9.5. I grew up in Stevensville, Michigan, and Berrien Springs. I claim Stevensville and Berrien Springs because those are both 2 cities that has shaped me into the person that I am today. I grew up in a super religious home. I was born and raised a Seventh-day Adventist, but I no longer practice that. I am more of a spiritual person. I do believe there's a man upstairs because he has brought me through a lot of things in my life that I would not be alive if it was not for him. I know there's higher power out there than me. It's not something I'm oblivious to. Even though I am no longer part of the SDA community, Seventh-day Adventist, they call it SDA for short, I still, find my own ways of having my own personal walk with God. God is very important in my life. Even though I'm not a religious person, I'm more of a spiritual person. This must sound a little bit crazy, but I am not a huge fan of religious people. Just from my own trauma of things that I've experienced of being a Seventh-day Adventist, and just the things that I witnessed growing up in such a religious home and just being surrounded by people who are super religious, I just don't gravitate myself with super religious people. There's a lot of hurt also I've experienced being part of such a religious community. I mean, to be honest with you, let's just be honest. I mean, SDA is a cult. Seventh Adventist is a cult. I don't care what anybody says. So that's another story for another day. I was going to school to become a dentist. I thought I was gonna own my own dental practice. I dropped out of dental school. I dropped out of dental school when I called off my wedding from my ex-fiance at the time, and I ended up choosing myself. I was doing medical because my mom wanted me to be in the medical field. You know, African parents having their kids become doctors and lawyers and all this stuff. I actually did not like being in the medical field. It was not for me, but I was actually a great student. So when I called off the wedding from my ex, it was just like a little moment for myself. I'm like, I need to go do what makes me happy. You know, things that brings me joy for myself, and start living life for myself instead of for other people. So I packed up my bags and I moved to Seattle and started my life completely over. Best decision I've ever made in my life. I grew up with a single mother. My parents divorced when I was about 11 years old. And I lived in such an abusive home. And the best decision my mom ever made was choosing herself and starting her life over. Even though it was so hard for her to start her life over in a foreign country with no help from her community back home in Zambia, and just not having anybody here, all she had was me and my siblings. It was very hard growing up with a single parent, but she did the best she could with what she had. And I'm forever, ever grateful for her for doing that. I have so much respect for my mom for living a marriage that no longer served her. That was so... It was just disgusting. I'm proud of her. Like, I have so much respect for her from walking away, even though the community shunned her and frowned upon her for living a marriage. I met my husband Michael in Seattle, Washington, and we have been married this year. We're going to be married for 9 years. I can't believe this. And next year it's going to be our 10-year anniversary, which I'm super excited about. Hopefully we can do something, like maybe renew our vows and whatnot. Growing up, being Seventh Adventist in church, they always like spoke about finding somebody who's in the church who has the same values as you. You know, like if you marry somebody outside of your church, you're not equally yoked, all this stuff, and then what type of man you should look for. And my husband is everything that they spoke about in church, but he didn't belong to any church. And then I have met some of the most amazing people who don't belong to any church, and they just have like pure, genuine heart. Michael is my best friend. Absolutely love him. We are also completely different people, like night and day. Talk about opposite attract. That's me and Mikey. Mikey is a super outgoing. He's a people person. He is funny. He collects friends from all over the world, and he's super intelligent. He's tech savvy. He can destroy things apart, put them back, put things back together, just easily make friends. You can take him any and everywhere in the world and he will fit in. Me, on the other hand, I'm a super introverted. Don't let this social media stuff fool you. I am not an outgoing person. However, if you are my friend and I've known you for a long time, that's a different story. Then you get to see that side of me. But I am socially awkward. I don't make friends easily. I think also that comes from like protecting myself. I'm constantly protecting myself. So I am more of an observant person, like, you know, checking people out, seeing how they act and whatnot. But with that also, it makes me a very, very loyal friend. I am a loyal friend to a T. I am a ride-or-die friend. But once you lose my trust and, you know, cross me over a few times, when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. Like, I am done. Done, 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 done. I have zero tolerance for bullshit. I'm super OCD. My friends and my husband, they make fun of me for this because I just love everything to be organized. I cannot deal with messy things. I just can't. Things have to be organized. That's just the way I function. It makes life easy for me. When I share like bits and pieces of like my home or my closet and whatnot, and everything's organized, it's like I'm not doing that for videos or anything. That's just how I live. I'm a super organized person. Everything has a place and it just makes life easy. And I've grown up that way. I grew up with a super OCD mother. Like, we had to, everything had to be organized. And the other thing is like, if the sink was not shining, like you couldn't see ourselves through it, it was not clean. That's the type of parent like I grew up with. We could not go to bed with the dishes in the sink. It's a no, 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 no. Growing up, I did not like it, but now as an adult, like it makes sense, you know? My mom now says that I have taken it to a whole new level. She said I'm completely worse than her. Actually, sometimes when she comes over to my house, she gets frustrated and she's like, you know what? I'm going home. I'm going home. I just can't. You just want everything so like this way and that way. This is just too much. And I'm like, did you remember the way you raised us up? She's like, well, yeah, but this is a little extreme. She's like, you need to be on medication. I'm like, no, I do not. I do not. Yeah, some people might find it weird to be that type of organized person. I don't find it weird. I think like it's super normal in my world. I am a proud mother of 2 schnauzers. Absolutely love them to pieces. And Shima is 4 years old. He's turning 4 next month. And Kapenta, he's turning 2 in May. I named them after my favorite food from Zambia. I love Nshima. I love Kapenta. And our next fur kid, if we end up getting one, we're gonna name him Beans because I also love beans. Don't ever call my kids dogs. They're not dogs. They're my kids. Okay? Mikey and I don't have any kids. Maybe one day we might have kids. And it's something we go back and forth about, like, should we not? But I love the fact that we are on the same page. This world is so messed up. And I just cannot imagine Mikey and I like bringing a child into this world. It's just a lot. It's just, yeah, maybe one day that would change. We haven't like completely checked it off, like something we're not gonna do. We just don't know. It's not something we're rushing into, even though we've been, we're going to be married for 9 years this year. We just love our time, our freedom to be able to like just up and go anywhere we want to. And we just we have a lot of other things we also want to personally accomplish individually and together. Oh, this one is a really fun one. I don't think I've ever like really shared on here. I was actually born with 12 fingers, and when I was young, I had them removed. My parents actually made sure that I got them removed when I was like really young. So I don't remember actually having all my 12 fingers, but I had them removed when I was a baby because my parents didn't want kids to make fun of us. All my siblings were also born with 12 fingers, so which is like interesting, cool, you know. Something else that I'm also passionate about, that I speak about, is living with a heart disease. I was born with congenital heart disease. It is something that I will forever have for the rest of my life. I have congenital heart disease, and I also have pulmonary hypertension. If you look at me, you would just think that, oh yeah, this is not like a sick person whatsoever. I carry it very well. With somebody who has such a disgusting disease, but however, I have learned how to live my life with it. I live a pretty beautiful and normal life. My husband knows how to deal with it when I'm having some signs of like, oh yeah, I'm not myself. He knows how to handle it. Something that I have just embraced to live with, and it's a blessing. It's not a death sentence. There's people who live long years with having congenital heart disease and pulmonary hypertension. If you don't know much about congenital heart disease, it's like when you're a baby, the way I can describe it this is that when every single child is born, they're born with a little hole in their heart. And as they get older, that little hole closes up. Unfortunately, my little hole did not close up. And that one little hole created another hole. So I actually have 2 holes in my heart, and I'm so glad that I live in a country where I have access to amazing doctors that I see at UW. They have become family, and they take care of me for many, many, many years. I see my doctor. I went from seeing my doctor a few times a year. Now I just see him like once or twice a year for just like my regular checkups to see how I'm doing, how my medication is doing. And just something I have absolutely embraced and live with. My favorite color is yellow. Absolutely love yellow. I've always loved yellow since I was a little girl. Even though I grew up in the States, I still have an accent, and it's something that I carry it with so much pride. I am multilingual. I speak 3 different languages. I'm always fascinated by people who are so shocked about other people speaking multiple languages, because where it comes from, it's normal. Actually, it's so interesting. My older brother speaks about 6 different languages, and that's not something like, oh my gosh, that's so impressive, because where I'm from, that's very normal to be multilingual. But here in America, if you speak different languages, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so impressive, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I hope that changes later on in this country. And don't get fooled by just the fashion. I also love to cook. I am actually a good cook. Okay, I love cooking and trying out different recipes. I know I'm really happy myself out by saying I'm a good cook, but actually I am really excellent cook, and I'm gonna stand by it. Mikey loves everything that I cook. My friends love when I cook for them. I do enjoy hosting friends over at our place for lunch or dinner. That's something that it just comes naturally to me, by hosting people and just like getting creative, like having different table settings. I wish I could showcase that more on my platforms, but I love and respect those beautiful, private, intimate moments with my loved ones. I don't share much about my family because I respect them and, you know, respect their own privacy and their lives, you know. Here and there, sometimes you guys will see my mom on my Instagram stories because she wants to be in it, whatever, but it's always in my stories, nothing like literally permanent. My husband, from time to time, he does love creating videos with me, which we actually absolutely enjoy doing together, but I have to bribe him sometimes into doing it if he's in a good mood. He likes being behind the camera than actually in front of the camera. I am a very blunt person. I just keep it 100. I don't have time of like beating around the bushes and, you know, putting things like really nicely for somebody and then delivering it to them. No, I don't know. I feel like life is better when people are just like brutally honest, like just say with your entire chest. But I am learning that not everybody's like that, and it may come off a little bit hurtful sometimes when I say something. It's something that I'm working on. This is why I love New York. I love how people are just like straightforward in New York. That's refreshing. And life should be that way. But here in Seattle where I live, I find people to be very passive aggressive. It's just like, no, like literally tell me how you're feeling. Don't be like, well, you know, yes, let's hang out. And then you don't want to hang out. Like, no, tell me that you do not want to hang out instead of like saying things that I just want to hear, you know? I don't know, it's different. I love traveling. It's one of my favorite things to do with my husband, just exploring different parts of the world. This world is so massive and so beautiful, and I just want to be able to experience so many different places, you know? I feel like it's also a way of me taking my sister everywhere, you know, experiencing things that she would never get to do, but I get to do it with her. I travel with my sister's picture everywhere I go in the world. She comes with me. So I have made it a life mission goal to go to as many countries as I can in this lifetime and just experience so many cultures, like different cultures. That's the most beautiful luxury like anybody can give their kids or themselves, you know? And you get to really learn about other people, and then also your life you expand the way your thought process and the way you look at things, and it also makes people to not be ignorant as they are. I find a lot of people in America to be so ignorant, and it's due to a lack of traveling and experiencing life outside of their little bubble in America. So if you have the privilege and the resources of traveling the world, do it. Please do it. Do it. Oh, I also worked at Nordstrom when I first moved to Seattle, Washington. I think I worked there for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. I feel like working for Nordstrom prepared me into owning my own boutique. A lot of things that I learned working at Nordstrom, I applied those things into my own business, like the way I ran my boutique. Yeah, I'll forever be grateful for that experience of working at Nordstrom. Learned a lot of things, absolutely. So those are just some of the few things about myself that I wanted to share with you guys so you can know me a little bit more, since I don't think I've done a proper introduction video. I hope you guys stick around. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, and also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you have any other questions for me, let me know in the comment section, and I would love to know where are you guys based on where you're watching this from, and just little things about you also. Anyways, I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.